So I've been living alone in a foreign country for a year already. The last months, I've been taking a ferry to move because the metro is usually crowded, stressful, and in COVID times is a nope from me. So the ferry is always the best option. At least, these were my thoughts until this week. On Monday, a random guy, probably 30 to 35, sat next to me on the ferry and tried to talk. I'm not good with the language yet, so I let him understand I didn't know what he was saying. He kept talking and showing me his phone. He had just taken a picture of me. I asked him to delete it, but he didn't understand, so I just ignored him to make him stop. It was irrelevant at that moment. On Tuesday, I noticed the guy was on the ferry again, but this time he greeted me and called me by my name, which of course surprised me since I don't know him. He sat next to me and kept talking non-stop, but this time he went over the top and tried to hug me. Luckily, a woman noticed it and sat between him and I, pretending to be my friend. On Wednesday, I decided to use the metro instead of the ferry, so it was normal. On Thursday, I took the ferry again. This guy was again there. This time, he sat far away. When the ferry reached the other side, I noticed the guy was following me, so I changed my route and went to a bus stop, which is just next to the ferry port. As it was late night, there weren't many people around. I was scared, so I sat in the bus stop and there was a couple waiting there, so I felt a bit more safe. But the stalker came and sat next to me and suddenly held my arm while saying, "Come, come, come," and trying to take me with him. At this moment, I just held his arm tight and asked for help. The couple next to me called the police and did the report. I mentioned that on Monday he was taking pictures of me, that he might be doing the same with other girls. Police asked for his phone, and to my surprise, he handed it to them with no problem, like he was sure nothing was gonna happen to him. When the police checked his phone, they found pictures of me, but not just from Monday. This guy has been taking pictures of me for months. Months! Not just on the ferry, but also in the parking site, and even outside my home. Besides my pictures, they found pics of a different girl, which I believe he was also following for months as well. The worst part about this whole situation is that I filled the report to the police, but they couldn't do anything because the guy hasn't hurt me. So right now, I'm looking for a new place to move. Anyway, everyone be careful. These creeps can be anywhere. I used to be a nurse at a mental institution, which meant I had to deal with people who keep freaking out or were just straight up delusional. I didn't have a car yet, so I either went home by taxi or walked. But I mostly stick to walking home, as getting a taxi is just a waste of money. One night, I left and started walking home. I always liked walking by myself, since it was so much more peaceful than the place that I work at. I was only minutes away from my home when I noticed a silhouette of a person standing under the street lamp. I stopped for a second before continuing my walk home. However, the closer I got, the more I could see the person clearer. It was an overweight woman with pale skin and long straight blonde hair. She also looked a bit towering. There were two things that were completely off about her. The first thing was that she was completely naked and only wearing black rain boots. The second thing was the mask she wore. It resembled a cat and looked like it was made out of porcelain. I stopped again and looked at this weird woman. Why is she naked on a cold night? Why is she wearing a cat mask? Uncomfortable, I decided to cross the road onto the other side of the street. I don't know what I was thinking making that decision. I looked back at the woman and noticed that she was now looking in my direction. Still standing under the light, I looked away and started walking, but a little faster. That's when I heard speeding footsteps behind me. I looked back, and to my shock, the woman was now sprinting at me with something in her right hand. It looked like a meat cleaver or something. In my sneakers, I immediately ran as fast as I could. I was so terrified that I wasn't walking to my house anymore. Without looking behind me, I could hear her almost catch up to me, despite her being overweight. I was running for my life for about 3 minutes now, and I lost her. Or so I thought when I heard her footsteps coming again. I luckily found a large bush to hide in as soon as the woman got to where I was. Then she began sniffing. I know it sounds weird, but that was exactly what she was doing. She kept doing this for almost a minute before giving up and walking away, along with letting out an annoyed growl. I stayed in the bush until the coast was clear. I contacted my friend to pick me up and drive me home, but kept what just happened to me a secret. After that was the first and last time I ever saw that lady. I would always think of theories of who she is. She could either be high on some kind of drug, or could have just been completely insane. I don't know. So to the naked woman with a cat mask who tried to attack me, I hope we never encounter each other again.